There are moments in life when the pain of being wronged feels almost unbearable. Someone's words, actions, or silence can cut deeply, leaving wounds that do not heal quickly. The ache is real, and it lingers long after the moment has passed. Yet within this pain lies a chance to grow. Teachings of compassion, acceptance, and inner strength guide us toward release. The following reflections shine a light on how to stop hurting when life feels unjust. Validate your feelings of hurt and anger. When the heart feels bruised by the actions of others, the first impulse is often to dismiss those feelings. We tell ourselves not to be weak, not to cry, not to let it bother us. But turning away from the pain only makes it stronger. It is essential to pause and simply acknowledge what is happening within. The quiet recognition that, yes, this hurts and yes, I feel anger, is the first step toward peace. Nothing in life is gained by pretending that our emotions do not exist. They are a natural response to difficulty. To validate them does not mean to cling to them or to indulge them endlessly. It means honoring our humanity. Just as a wound on the body needs to be seen before it can be treated, so too does the wound of the heart. To validate is to whisper to yourself, "My feelings are real, my pain is real, and I deserve gentleness." In that act of recognition, you become your own ally instead of your own enemy. Instead of shaming yourself for feeling hurt, you open the door to healing. When you say, "I am angry and that is okay," you are not giving anger control. You are giving it space to be acknowledged so it does not have to roar louder to be heard. There is profound strength in sitting quietly with your emotions, allowing them to exist without resistance. The storm begins to soften when we do not push it away. In these moments, remind yourself that you are not alone. Every person has felt betrayed, dismissed, or mistreated. To feel hurt is to share in the human journey. Allowing your heart to speak its truth is not weakness. It is courage. It is the first, most compassionate gift you can offer yourself. And in that gentle validation, you create the foundation upon which all further healing will rest. Examine the narrative you tell yourself. Pain is not only born from what happens to us, but also from the story we tell ourselves about it. When someone wrongs us, our mind begins to weave a narrative. It says, "They must not value me," or "I am unworthy of respect." These stories tighten the wound, keeping it raw and unhealed. To find relief, we must look closely at the narrative we are repeating. Ask yourself, what story am I telling about this event? Is it the truth, or is it the mind's attempt to create meaning out of hurt? Often the story inflames the pain far more than the action itself. Imagine being cut by a thorn. The cut stings. But the mind may tell a story that the whole garden is dangerous, that no flower can be trusted. Suddenly, the wound is no longer just a scratch. It becomes a symbol of fear and mistrust. By questioning the narrative, you loosen its grip. You ask, is this belief nourishing my heart or deepening my suffering? The act of inquiry itself begins to soften the edges of pain. It allows you to see that people act from their own confusion, their own struggles, and their own blindness. Their actions may hurt you, but they do not define you. You are more than someone else's mistake. You are not the insult thrown at you, nor the silence that ignored you. When you shift your perspective, you begin to separate the event from the story. This does not erase what happened, but it frees you from living inside a distorted tale. It opens a space where compassion can enter. It allows you to choose a gentler narrative, one that says, "I am still whole. I am still worthy. This pain is not the entirety of me." By examining the stories you tell yourself, you reclaim power over your own heart. And in doing so, you begin to write a new chapter, one shaped not by bitterness, but by wisdom and clarity. Differentiate what you can and cannot control. In the aftermath of being wronged, the mind often circles endlessly around what should have happened. We imagine different outcomes. We wish we could make someone see our pain or take back their actions. But dwelling in what is beyond our reach only exhausts us. True relief comes when we learn to separate what is within our control from what is not. You cannot control another person's choices. You cannot force them to understand your perspective or to act with kindness. Their actions belong to them. What you can influence is your own response. You can choose the words you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the thoughts you nurture. By shifting your focus toward what is possible, you regain your strength. Imagine standing in a storm. You cannot command the wind to stop or the rain to cease, but you can choose to step under shelter. You can choose how you protect yourself within the storm. The same is true with emotional pain. The actions of others are like the weather, unpredictable, sometimes harsh, and outside your control. Your choice lies in how you meet that weather. Do you let it drench you in resentment, or do you step into the refuge of inner clarity? This practice is not about resignation. It is about empowerment. It is about saying, I release what I cannot change, and I place my energy where it matters. When you do this, you free yourself from the endless cycle of wishing reality were different. You stop fighting battles that can never be won. The more you focus on what you can control, your breath, your thoughts, your boundaries, the lighter the burden becomes. Pain no longer consumes you because you are no longer trying to carry the weight of what is not yours. This shift in perspective transforms the experience of hurt into an opportunity for strength. It allows you to hold your dignity even when others lose theirs. It allows you to walk forward with steadiness, knowing that while you cannot control the storm, you can always choose how you walk through it. Consciously process your emotions, don't suppress them. Many people believe the best way to deal with hurt is to bury it deep inside. They smile, act as if nothing happened, and carry on. Yet buried emotions do not disappear. They linger in the body and the mind, turning into bitterness, anxiety, or even physical illness. Healing requires courage to face emotions consciously instead of suppressing them. To process feelings means to sit with them and allow them to move through you. Think of emotions as visitors who come knocking at the door. If you slam the door shut, they pound harder. But if you open the door, acknowledge them, and let them pass through, they eventually leave. Hurt, anger, disappointment, all of these are temporary. When you give them safe passage, they cannot take root inside you. This does not mean drowning in emotions or clinging to them. It means letting them rise, observing them, and letting them dissolve in their own time. One gentle way to do this is through mindful breathing. As the anger surfaces, breathe in with awareness. I feel this anger. As you breathe out, release. I let it move through me. With each breath, the intensity softens. Another way is to express the emotions safely, through journaling, art, or speaking to someone you trust. These outlets give the energy of emotion a channel to flow. Suppression locks it inside like stagnant water. Expression allows it to flow like a river returning to the sea. You do not need to fear your emotions. They are not your enemy. They are signals telling you something matters deeply to you. When acknowledged, they lose their power to harm. When suppressed, they harden into suffering. Processing emotions with awareness is like clearing clouds from the sky. It creates space for clarity, peace, and even joy to return. And in this conscious embrace, you learn that your emotions do not define you. They are passing waves, not the ocean itself. The more you practice allowing them to flow, the less they control your life. Instead of being drowned by them, you become the one who watches the waves rise and fall with steady presence. Establish clear boundaries to protect yourself. To heal from being wronged, it is not enough to only process emotions. There must also be action that protects your well-being. Boundaries are the invisible lines that honor your worth and dignity. They are not walls of bitterness, but shields of self-respect. When someone mistreats you, a natural part of healing is to recognize what you will and will not accept going forward. Boundaries are not about punishing others. They are about caring for yourself. Imagine your heart as a garden. To flourish, it needs protection from harsh winds, invasive weeds, and trampling feet. A boundary is the fence that allows the garden to bloom. Without it, the garden suffers. With it, beauty thrives. In relationships, boundaries might mean saying no to certain behaviors. It might mean limiting time with those who continually hurt you. It might mean clearly expressing what you need in order to feel respected. Some fear that setting boundaries is selfish, but in truth, boundaries are acts of love, both for yourself and for others. They prevent resentment from growing. They allow relationships to be healthier. built on clarity instead of unspoken pain. Boundaries also remind you that your value is not determined by how much hurt you can endure. Your worth is inherent. Protecting your heart is not weakness, it is wisdom. Of course, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable. People may resist or push back. But the discomfort of honesty is far lighter than the suffering of betrayal. Each time you honor your own needs, you strengthen your inner voice. You affirm that you are worthy of respect. Over time, these boundaries become the framework of peace. They give you freedom to interact with others without fear of being trampled again. They allow you to offer kindness without losing yourself. And most importantly, they remind you that protecting your own heart is a sacred responsibility. When you set boundaries with compassion and clarity, you no longer live at the mercy of others' actions. You live in alignment with your own truth. And from that place, true healing becomes possible. Redirect your energy towards self-healing. When hurt consumes the mind, it can feel like all energy is being drained into thoughts of injustice. We replay the moment. We analyze the words. We dwell on what should have been different. This endless loop becomes exhausting. The more we pour energy into the wound, the less we have left for ourselves. Healing begins when we choose to redirect that energy inward. Instead of feeding the pain, we nurture the heart. Self-healing is not about ignoring what happened. It is about reclaiming the power that was taken. It is the decision to say, I will not give my entire being to this wound. Redirecting energy can take many forms. It may mean dedicating time to practices that calm the mind, such as meditation, walking in nature, or simply breathing with awareness. It may mean engaging in creative expression, painting, writing, singing, that transforms pain into beauty. It may mean caring for the body with rest, nourishing food, or movement. Each small act of care is a thread of healing, weaving strength where there was once only hurt. When you focus on self-healing, you shift from being defined by the wrong to being defined by your response. The energy that once fueled resentment now fuels growth. The attention that once clung to the past now nurtures the present. The act of redirecting energy is an act of freedom. You refuse to be bound by what another has done. You affirm that your life is more than this pain. You choose to invest in your own peace rather than in endless suffering. And with each step of self-care, the wound loses its grip. What was once heavy becomes lighter. What was once consuming becomes a teacher, guiding you to a deeper appreciation of your own resilience. Redirecting energy toward healing does not erase the memory, but it transforms the way you carry it. It teaches you that even in the aftermath of pain, you have the power to rise. The more you turn toward yourself with compassion, the more the hurt loosens its hold. And in this shift, you rediscover the strength that has always lived within you. Practice radical acceptance of what occurred. One of the hardest truths to embrace is that the past cannot be undone. No matter how unfair, no matter how cruel, what has happened is already written. Much of our suffering comes not from the event itself, but from resisting its reality. The mind insists it should not have happened. That resistance tightens the wound. Radical acceptance is the willingness to see reality as it is, without clinging to what we wish it had been. Acceptance is not agreement. It is not saying what happened was right or justified. It is simply acknowledging, this did happen. In that acknowledgement, the endless struggle against reality begins to soften. Imagine trying to hold back the tide of the ocean with your hands. The harder you push, the more exhausted you become. But if you step back and allow the waves to be as they are, you conserve your energy. You free yourself from a futile fight. Acceptance is that stepping back. It is the moment you stop exhausting yourself with resistance. It is the moment you realize that your peace does not depend on rewriting the past. It depends on how you meet the present. This practice can feel unbearable at first. The mind wants to cling to the belief that things could have been different. But over time, acceptance brings relief. It is like setting down a heavy burden you have carried too long. It allows space for healing to begin. Acceptance does not mean you forget. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you choose to live with reality instead of against it. You free yourself from the chains of should have and if only. And in that freedom, you rediscover the possibility of joy. Radical acceptance is an act of courage. It is a declaration that while you cannot control what was done, you can control how you live now. By saying yes to the truth of what is, you reclaim your energy for what can be. And in that acceptance, the wound no longer rules your life. You learn to carry it with grace, until one day it no longer feels heavy at all. Reframe forgiveness as a release for you. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many think it means excusing harmful behavior or pretending the wrong never occurred. But true forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about your own freedom. Holding on to anger is like carrying a burning coal in your hand. You wait for the chance to throw it, but all the while it burns you. Forgiveness is the moment you set the coal down. It is a release, a gift to yourself. When you forgive, you are not saying what happened was acceptable. You are saying, I choose not to let this pain own me anymore. Forgiveness is not always immediate. It may come in small steps. At first, you may feel only the willingness to consider letting go. That is enough. Over time, as you soften the grip of resentment, space opens for peace to enter. Think of forgiveness as unclenching a fist. When the hand is tight, it cannot receive anything, but when it opens, it can hold joy, love, and freedom again. To forgive is to open the heart, not to the offender, but to yourself. It is to reclaim the energy that has been trapped in bitterness. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is remembering without being chained. It is choosing not to let the past poison the present. It is a process of liberation. When you reframe forgiveness in this way, it becomes less about the other person's worthiness and more about your own well-being. You forgive because you deserve peace. You forgive because you no longer wish to carry the weight. You forgive because life is too precious to be consumed by anger. Some wounds take time to heal. Forgiveness may not come easily, but each step toward it is a step toward freedom. Each act of release lightens the heart. And as you continue, you find that forgiveness is not just an act. It is a practice of letting go again and again, until peace becomes your natural state. In releasing the past, you open the door to a future unburdened by chains. Forgiveness then becomes not a duty, but a profound act of love for yourself. Seek support from trusted friends or professionals. Healing is not meant to be walked alone. When pain runs deep, the weight can feel unbearable. Yet when shared, the burden grows lighter. Trusted friends, compassionate listeners, or skilled professionals can offer the space where your heart feels held. To speak your truth out loud is to give shape to your pain. It takes the heavy silence inside you and transforms it into words that can be met with understanding. In that exchange, isolation begins to dissolve. Support does not mean others will fix the problem for you. It means they will stand beside you as you walk through it. A kind friend may not erase your hurt, but their presence reminds you that you are not invisible, not alone. A professional, whether counselor or guide, can offer tools and perspectives that help you see new paths forward. Seeking support is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is recognizing that healing thrives in connection. Just as a single candle can brighten a dark room, a single conversation can bring light to a heavy heart. Some resist seeking support because they fear being a burden. But consider how you would feel if a dear friend came to you in pain. Would you not want to help them carry it? In the same way, others feel honored to walk with you in your healing. Their compassion is a gift freely given, not a debt you owe. There is strength in allowing yourself to be held. There is courage in saying, I cannot do this alone. And in that admission, you open yourself to the healing power of connection. Support is not just about receiving advice. Often it is about being reminded of your own resilience. It is about hearing someone say, I see you, I hear you, and I believe in your strength. Those words can reignite hope when your own light feels dim. Healing is a journey, and every traveler needs companions. When you allow others to walk beside you, the path feels less heavy, and in their presence you rediscover the truth that you were never meant to carry the weight of pain entirely on your own. Define your personal path to moving forward. After the storm of being wronged, there comes a time to step into a new chapter. Moving forward is not about erasing the past. It is about deciding how you will carry it into the future. Each person's path is unique. What matters most is that the path belongs to you. To move forward, you must ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to create from here? Perhaps you want to embrace greater peace, to live with more kindness, to cultivate resilience. Whatever the vision, the decision must be yours. Moving forward does not mean rushing. It does not mean pretending the pain never happened. It means choosing not to let the pain define the rest of your journey. It is about planting seeds of intention in the soil of your heart. Some seeds may be forgiveness, some may be courage, some may be the commitment to live with greater joy. Over time, those seeds grow into the life you choose. Defining your personal path also means recognizing that setbacks may come. Old wounds may resurface. But with clarity of direction, you will not be lost. Each time you stumble, you return to your path, stronger and wiser. This forward movement is not linear. It is a dance between remembering and releasing, between falling and rising. Yet every step is progress. Moving forward requires trust in your own strength. It requires faith that even after being wronged, you still hold the power to shape your future. No one else can walk this journey for you. Others may guide, but you must decide the direction. The path is made by your choices, your values, and your vision of what is possible. And as you take each step, you realize that the pain has transformed. It no longer controls you. It has become a teacher, showing you the depth of your resilience and the capacity of your heart. To move forward is to declare that your life is greater than any wound. It is to walk with dignity, with hope, and with the quiet knowing that you have the power to create beauty even from sorrow.